before 4 o'clock. Now, Britain, and driving in Britain more precisely, is becoming a real pain, according to new research out this week. More than 2,000 drivers across the UK told car finance company Carmula that the appalling state of British roads, aggressive and inconsiderate drivers and traffic jams are getting worse and worse and more annoying. Well, joining us now with his thoughts is the former Top Gear presenter and motoring journalist, Quentin Willson. Quentin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Quentin, I'll ask you, have you got any driving bugbears? Our listeners have many. I have them here in front of me. Which one's your driving bugbear?
Well, look, apart from, the inoperable, slow, terminal decline of our road surfaces with potholes and everything, I think it's got to be people driving aggressively, far too close, threateningly, and also without any skill at all. These people for whom indicators aren't just a mystery, they're a complete irrelevance. And they're everywhere, Alexis. Since we took the cop cars away and we did the remote policing with the cameras and everything, this underclass has grown and grown and grown. And they make every journey miserable because all you need to do is catch their eye or get in their way and they're on their horn, they're up your chuff. And it's Armageddon out there.
I have to say that there must have been some collective decision by drivers to decide not to use indicators, as you've just mentioned. As a motorbike rider in London, this is just roulette. Every time I'm behind a car and we're approaching some sort of junction, I have to just estimate one of three options. Either they're going to carry on going straight or they could go left or right. It seems that indicators are now a thing of the past. But in all joking aside, Quentin, what do you think has led to this? Can it really be the lack of patrol cars? I mean, I don't think anybody would get pulled over for not using their indicator anymore, would they?
Well, they wouldn't get pulled over for not having a license, not having an MOT, not having, the right tyres. Look, on a broader scale, Alexis, it's the failure of our political class over a number of decades to understand that roads are, the arteries of the nation down which prosperity flows, and they've been neglected. And driving as a craft has been neglected. So we have an infrastructure which is a smoking ruin. But we've also got MPs and ministers who know nothing about the subject, and transport ministers who are just completely feckless and clueless. And look, it sounds extreme, but I've done 30 years of this and tried to get close to them and tried to talk to them and say, look, it's all falling to pieces. What are we going to do about it? And they won't even engage because they have no expertise in this subject. So the whole thing has been let down by this political class, and it's not just Labour; it was the Conservatives as well. To sort of just say, look, roads are important, and we're not going to do this modal shift to public transport that John Prescott talked about in 1997 when he said, "I'm going to get 10% of the population on public transport." That just hasn't happened. So we have to understand that the roads are vitally important, and the sector itself. I mean, the car makers and motoring journalists and hacks like me, that we should have done more to kind of promote this and say, look, civil servants, political class, you don't know what you're talking about. Roads are really important.
A lot of listeners have been texting in about this. Some are suggesting, this is one from Mark, says over-reliance on cars for personal transport has meant there are just too many on the road. The infrastructure could never deal with an increase, so people get frustrated and take stupid risks. So the idea that we just have too many, a lot of people are pointing out that the politeness has left driving. Robin says once Brits were considered polite, courteous people. Nowadays, you're likely to be receiving flashing headlights or horn honking if you want to change lanes on a roundabout. Is there also an element of us changing, our culture changing? People are impatient. We're living in the age of scrolling, of very, small amounts of attention being able to be given. Our patience is very thin. Do you think that all combines with why driving has become so aggressive as well?
I mean, that's a societal thing, isn't it? And our behaviours have changed, and we no longer raise the gloved hand of courtesy to let somebody through or to wave. That's the 1950s and 1960s. But what we have now are people who don't take driving seriously, who see it as an A to B thing, like filling a dishwasher or a washing machine, and there is no skill and no craft to it. And I think, we've lost that ability to think this is a privilege. I really do need to do this properly. I need to protect myself and other road users. And yes, we've got far too many cars, but then we have not got an alternative to that, Alexis. And it's no good saying we need to just all go on public transport, because if we did, the whole thing would collapse, because it's miserable now, and it would be even more miserable
Yeah.
if we all used it. So where are we? We've made a big mistake in not cherishing our infrastructure.
Quentin, a lot of people agreeing with you as you're speaking. Thank you for being part of the show. Always good to chat. Quentin Willson there.